Hi, I'm Anneli. Today I'm going to make another little veggie dish for you guys. It's time to clean out the fridge. Again, I seem to do that a lot. I have this really good crusty day-old bread that I want to use up, so I'm going to use the vegetables. There's not that many in the fridge, and make up a soup. And the bread will go good with that and soak up all that juice. I'm using just some organic low sodium vegetable stock. If you have your own homemade stock, that's even better, but I don't, and I don't have time to make it. I'm going to use, I've got this in my pantry, it's been in there a while. It's orzo, little pastas, some can of tomatoes, I've got some cannellini beans, some carrots, a piece of onion, and some kind of wilty parsley. Oh, and a pepper. I gotta dig out the pepper. How difficult to cook vegan food, plant-based food, while I'm cooking, and we'll go from there. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'll watch till the end and I'll show you what the bowl of soup looks like made from these few ingredients. So the other thing is, I didn't mention garlic. You have to have lots of garlic. And this time I'm not using any oil in my pot. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water, and that's what I'll saute the onion and garlic in. It's just some water. I'm just going to grab some from the tap. I've got this handy dandy little deciliter measuring cup. It's 100 mils, so that's 1 deciliter. So I try to use oil as little as possible if it's not needed, because Lord knows I eat a lot of processed food. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else about quick snacks and fried snacks and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't need oil, why not just avoid it? Because these will saute down just as well as in oil, and as you need more, you just add a little bit more water. Eating the plant-based is good and it's healthy. You can certainly be a very unhealthy vegan, and you can certainly gain weight being a vegan. There's so many products now in the market for vegan diets, and you can go get vegan Oreos, you can get vegan chocolate, you can get vegan pastries, you can get vegan burgers, but it doesn't mean that they're good for you. They're highly processed, they contain extra oil and extra fat and sugar to make them really tasty. If you're really trying to look after your health, you're going to try to eat just whole food, plant-based. So just real plants, chop them up and cook them up. There's ways of making them taste pretty darn good too. And I'm one that I love, like how I did that. I love comfort food, pastas, I like breads. So to make up for all that kind of stuff that I love to eat that's good filler, I have to eat a lot of greens and a lot of other colored vegetables. That's a huge garlic clove. Ooh. Okay, so the onions cooking down a bit. I'm just going to chop up the garlic. I like these a lot. What have I got here? 3 big cloves, I guess. So basically, if you're eating whole food plant-based, then you can eat a lot more quantity to amount to like a huge amount of calories. So the more processed the foods you eat, the denser they are in calories, so the less you should eat them, and they're not even as healthy for you. Keep that in mind. A lot more quantity, the more whole food it is. And I don't think it's any surprise nowadays. There's so much research, and most people agree that limiting intake of animal products is better for your overall health. Exception is the people that are into this thing about eating nothing but meat. They eat no vegetables at all. I can't recall if their thing is called just a carnivore diet. I'm not sure if it's something else, but that's all they eat is meat. It would make me sick. So this is, the water's simmering out, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Okay, so while the garlic and onion is simmering, I'm just going to chop up my carrots. I tend to put all my vegetables into the pot and let them kind of saute down a bit, just a tad, and then I add the vegetable stock. I should salt as I add in the vegetables, salt, pepper. I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt on the onions and garlic. A little bit of pepper too. And I'm just adding in all these carrots. I think I will even throw in the pepper right now. Sounds like it needs more water in there. So anyway, I don't know what your thoughts about eating plant-based or increasing the amount of vegetables, but everything from the Mediterranean diet to being a vegan, vegetarianism, and they tend to find that people that have those kinds of diets have less long-term health concerns, especially like if you look into countries where they have limited amounts of meat, and meat is only used to flavor their foods or just as a very small portion. Health issues are less and totally different than what our North American health issues are. Less cardiovascular disease, less dementia, like Alzheimer's. Okay, so far I've got the onions, garlic, carrots, and peppers in there. I'm just going to add a few more spices. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper, a little bit more salt, and then I always add allspice. I remember my mom used to cook when she used to make a soup, and she always added a bit of allspice. It adds a bit of flavor, a different flavor to it. I'm going to add the can of tomatoes in. And I've already washed the lid of this. I don't know if you guys do, it's just a habit of mine to wash the lid of my cans. I hear all kinds of horror stories about what goes on in the warehouses. So now these are just whole tomatoes. They'll break down once they cook, and then I always like to get all the tomato juice that's left in the can. And I'm going to add the vegetable broth, because this is what instead of water, this is what the pasta will cook in. And then the pasta will release some of the starchiness in the pasta, and that will thicken the soup up just a little tiny bit. Well, not quite a liter. This is about 946 mils, so I didn't put the whole thing in there, maybe 3/4. I'm going to bring this to a boil, turn up the heat, and then when it comes to a boil, turn it down to a simmer until the vegetables are just about cooked, but not. Add in the pasta, half a cup. And then this only takes about 7 minutes to cook. Just before it's done, I'm going to have these drained cannellini beans added to the pasta. At the very end, I'll throw in some parsley, and it's going to taste good. So I'll show you what it's like when it's done. Okay, it's starting to come to a little bit of a boil. I'm just going to stir it a bit. Tomatoes are still in there kind of whole, so I'm just breaking them up a little bit. And I'm just going to turn down the stove, just let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to add in the pasta, and then the cannelloni, and then the parsley, and it'll be done. It's all been simmering, so now I'm just going to add in almost a cup of orzo. That only takes about 7 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, then I'll add the beans in. They're going to be very soupy, so thank goodness for the dry loaf of bread that I have. Now the orzo is pasta, so it will thicken up, and like I said, the starch from the pasta will thicken up the broth a bit. It's thickening up, so I'm just going to add in the cannellini beans that I've rinsed off. I'm just going to give that a few minutes, basically just heating them up. I think you can tell that I don't use recipes. There's so many good plant-based cookbooks out there now. I tend to use them for inspiration and guidelines, but I'm hard-pressed to stick to the actual measurements. I do in some occasions if it's something really finicky. See how easy this is? And then you add your spices just to flavor it to your own taste. You can even add, instead of chopping up your garlic, you can add garlic powder, onion powder, so you can make this more spicier. I didn't add any hot red pepper flakes to this, so on top of the soup you can add some hot sauce if you'd like. This type of soup is really good, like I said, with the crunchy type of day-old bread to soak it up. A lot of times I'll add root vegetables. I'll add Swiss chard or kale if I have them. Sometimes it's a lot thicker of a soup. I really like using my hand blender to blend some of it with the hand blender to make it thick. A totally pureed soup with the hand blender. But this is more like a summery type soup. Got the tomatoes. If you had fresh tomatoes, that would be good. I have garden vegetables in here. It's more runny. It's not as hearty. Alright, so that's just about it. I'm going to turn it off in just a minute. Add the parsley, and I'll show you how it looks when it's all done, okay? So here it is. I've got my day-old bread. It looks pretty good. So I'm ready to have a little slurp. It's really hot still, but my favorite part is actually dipping the bread in and just having the bread. That tastes really good. I think the bread is the favorite part of the soup for me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already for more plant-based ideas for women 50 and beyond, how to stay healthy and fit. I'll see you next time. Bye.